so guys, let's talk about unemployment.
Mhm.
I think at some level we all have people we manage or people we've recruited.
Yeah.
So I've also been opportune to get people to send me their resume for evaluation, and apart from that's another story for another day.
I'll say it today.
So one thing I've noticed that I try as much as possible not to judge the resumes I get and even the interaction that happens between myself and each individual. But I've noticed that there's a certain level of characteristics that I find missing in some individuals. In fact, a lot of youths that fall within the millennium spectrum. So, do you think the current rate of unemployment in Nigeria is actually self-caused by this graduates, or do you think organizations are getting more demanding, are requesting for requirements that are not realistic as a CEO?
I think it's mostly self-caused. Okay. And I'll speak from personal experience. I've had the opportunity to interview across different sectors, and I can give some gory tales, like really, really gory tales. First example, I had the opportunity to employ someone in the food industry. First day, you come in with your resume, looking all beautiful. Tell me you've worked here, you've worked there, it's amazing, you're ready to put in your best. That day, you steal.
Oops. Okay. Wow. Is this a
that very first day, you steal. Because usually what they do in the QSR industry is they search you. Okay. Make sure that you're not carrying anything that you shouldn't carry home. And what we do is that we have male security girls search the males, the females search the females. Yes. And the female, we're searching delicate female areas, found money that this person stole on her first day. So my point is this. We get across so many resumes. You see so many resumes. People say, I want this. What I've also noticed is because of the high level of unemployment that we have generally, some people don't even prepare for the interview. It's like a friend just passes on to you and says, you know what, there's an interview going on there. Why don't you go and check it out? So people literally are stopping at cyber cafes on their way, prepping up their paperwork, and coming straight to you and telling you. So for me, whoever is interested in wanting to go after a job, there are some key qualities that you must have. And most importantly, do your homework. I come across so many people who do not do their homework. You have zero idea of where you're coming to work for, zero idea of what they do, zero idea of who's behind it, zero idea of what value you're bringing to the table. So please tell me why I should employ you.
Okay. There's certain things that I think about when it comes to employability. And I always like to say that if you want to be employable, there are certain characteristics that you must have. So the first one is you must be able to communicate your ideas to the person who is sitting next at the other side of the table. They must be able to understand. You must be able to link your ideas, and you must have a continuous trend. And you must be able to prove a point at a certain time. Okay. So first and foremost, you must be able to communicate, and that's one of the problems I think today. Sure. That I'm beginning to realize that many people don't know how to communicate formally. The second thing is
you are for instance.
Yes, exactly.
Or just sending the resume, no caption, no subject, no.
You cannot even structure a proper email to go with your resume. So what you will just find out is my resume, or
just the attachment.
Find attached. You're not able to sell yourself, and that's one of the key aspects of communication. The second thing is you have to have integrity. That's key. When you are telling somebody about your life, you need to be able to be factual and you need to be honest, because most interviewers will ask you about things that have to do with how you actually felt when you were in certain positions, and that gives the employer an idea of who you are as a person.
Or gaps in your resume.
And so he's able to ask, okay, so you were not working for 2 years.
What were you doing?
What were you doing? How did you feel? Okay, the company shut down at this time. What was your reaction? How did you feel? So you have to have that integrity. You have to be honest in the presentation of yourself. Exactly. As against telling them that you are this, you are that, and then at the end of the day, they ask you for certain questions and you are unable.
But don't you think we should also drum on the fact that because of the shortage of these jobs that are available,
people are desperate.
People are so, if I should take the word out of my mouth, people are so desperate that they are willing to fill any hole.
Chris, I agree with you, but then again, there's this, I always say to people, or I heard somebody say one time that we talked about how salespeople, we had a conversation about how salespeople lie, and go to tell tales about the product or a particular solution that are features that are not existent. And somebody else said to me that, Chidima, there are two types of lies. I mean, I can lie and he finds out. And then I can lie and he finds, yeah, that's one side. And then the other side is I can lie and then come back and put that feature in there.
Yeah.
Now, your desperation can drive you to that point where, I mean, you can say all sorts. I'm a Java programmer.
You can.
And then, I mean, for instance, you're saying, I'm not, I agree with you, right?
I'm not saying you. You cannot tell me you're a Java programmer.
And you don't know
And you don't know
something.
certain things.
But I remember the incident about the gentleman who had to go up to the US and was stopped at immigration.
Yeah.
He worked for one of the big names.
Yeah.
I won't like to mention the name. And the immigration gentleman there gave him so that. And this is somebody who was recommended from Nigeria to go to the US. I stop.
Yes.
But as far as the gentleman was there, he couldn't answer those questions.
Yeah, and
Because why? Like you said, the pressure and everything, which is another thing again.
No, I think he answered
But the man couldn't interpret
couldn't
it.
interpret it.
They had blueprints of what they wanted to hear.
To hear,
Right?
exactly.
Now, his answer didn't resonate with their
With
blueprints.
theirs.
At that point, my assumption would be that the guy on the other side of the table, like the HR manager, doesn't understand what Java programming
exactly.
means, for instance.
And
So,
that's why generally you would find out that for any structured organization, you would never find an HR guy who all he knows is HR trying to interview somebody for a program.
Even maybe just for
You
the
probably
entry
come ahead
level.
of-
they're the ones
Yeah.
who screen
He
the
needs-
CV.
Yes,
right?
I agree. No, most of the time they send it. Well, at least in organizations I have worked for, they send it to the Java program head to review those CVs and
And
choose-
select
Make
the
the
ones,
select
the
that
ones you
they
want them to
want.
qualify for
Mhm.
interview.
So when you come in, as I said earlier, you need to be able to communicate.
But don't you think, so
Communication
sorry to cut you
problems.
short, don't you think we also need to blame the background leading up to that point?
Well,
A child or an
I was-
individual who had the opportunity of going through school and worked in a sweet shop, and next summer had to go for an apprenticeship in a clothes shop, at that age, when you're expected to really go for a full-fledged job, you're already mentally ready. You're already intellectually prepared.
Yep.
What we find out in our own state is because we have been stuck within the four walls of institutions and being poured and being made to just read, not read, cram and study, and you're pushed out to the society as a whole. What do you think we're going to get off this individual?
I think that I'm sorry, Demola, but I think that universities actually also, I mean, maybe not for all professions, but I also know that some specific, especially tech-based occupation, allow you to do 3 months, 6 months, I don't know, between a particular time during your study or period during your study, that allows you to go out there. But what I think is that a lot of people do not leverage that opportunity. And I say this to say, I mean, to answer the question, the two sides are to blame. But I think that employability is always dependent on the individual, right? First and foremost, you need to be employable before the organizations can ask. I mean, I go online every day. I see CVs. Every day online, I meet friends who tell me about how they receive 3, 4, 5 offers in the same system where we say there are no jobs.
Yes.
But the question is, what's the difference between this guy who's getting 5 offers and you who has not received any? I'd say experience. And with regards experience, then I'll blame the employers who maybe at some point have refused to give the inexperienced one the opportunity to come in and grow. And then on the other hand, I would also blame employability in terms of skill on the individual. I mean, the first thing I say to every young person I meet who's about to leave the university four walls is, what do you want to become? Have you told yourself that? Have you asked yourself that question? Where do you want to focus your area? I met somebody and the person said, I want to be a HR person. And the first question I asked is, what are the most relevant... No, I mean, the first question I asked is, what are the most relevant HR tools today available? And they go, at that point, I just knew that, no, this guy is not ready.
You know what? Sometimes I think that it's actually about being able to communicate those ideas. In many cases, I've been privileged to like in the last 2 years, there are situations where I've had to employ 10 internship positions. So when I was talking to them, I wasn't expecting them to have anything. And I had to interview for each of those 10 positions. I had to interview 40 people each time.
Whoa.
Mhm.
And I realized that one of the fundamental problems they had was they were not able to communicate what they were thinking in their mind.
Can I also speak for the other side of the divide when it's done?
Can I just just quickly say this, that there are, again, I like to go like really back into things, and I see that most of us in our family, in our communities, we also don't tend to prime our children for these things that are going to see in the future.
Yes.
So if I have my child today, for instance, I need to be able to communicate with that child.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to leave the child to just communicate with his friends. I'm going to have to instill certain ways of thinking. My dad was a professor, so there's certain ways in which
Is that why you also communicate the way you do?
There's certain ways in which he will communicate with me, and there's certain ways in which there are times when I go and I watch him deliver a lecture, and he's talking to people, and I'm like, oh, that's good. He's able to communicate.
One of the nice
properly.
professors, I presume.
Yes, well, he was one of those older ones.
Structured
he knew what he was
communication.
doing. But guess what? In my family, there were certain things that were required. You have to read, you have to study. So what I'm trying to say is employability also starts, to be honest, when we look at it from the onset, from the inception,
Basics.
it starts with your family.
Yeah.
Where did you grow? Many people want to come today and become the managing director because we have this quick
Or the CEO,
Get rich quick mentality.
mentality.
But the point is, when you get into that employability role, first of all, listen, communicate your ideas, have your integrity, be hardworking, and then you move forward.
Yes,
I
but
agree.
I want to speak for the employers. Now, all we're going on are those that are the employees, the employers. When you sit on the other side of the table and you have the opportunity to speak to so many people who are coming around. My last venture was in the travel industry. Now, I just had an interest in it. And I've never worked in any travel-related business. But I had to employ people who had to work in there. So I had a joint venture with someone and we had to sit down and you are coming for a role as a travel consultant, and you cannot basically tell me capitals of some cities or some countries in the world that should be well known to you. Typically, somebody asks that, what's the capital of the UAE?
I don't know the capital of
You don't know the
Tanzania.
capital of Tanzania.
I don't know.
But like you just said now, if you don't immerse yourself...
Don't let me embarrass myself. Because
I
I want to say.
What you said, that was allowed. Just for the record, that was allowed. Now, but for me, it was just because of interest. I have a legal background. But before you invest in a particular side of business, you do your homework. Because maybe the love for traveling, the love for everything else. But you cannot come and get a job in the travel industry and you cannot be able to tick some boxes.
Okay, so guys.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
I think I need to also say something. Because many a times, most of the employers that we have today expect to have a ready-made product.
Yeah.
So what they're looking for is the guy who is able to say all these things, say all the capitals, all the
I think that employers are willing to give potential a chance.
It's like going to work for an e-retailer, right?
I think that employers are willing to give potential a chance. I mean, I've seen that happen.
A lot of people.
They just need to see the potential and the promise.
The promise.
The potential and the promise.
Key, the promise.
Where I am driving at is this: is that look, for every single employer, you already know that you are going to train this guy to be what you want him to be within your organization.
Depending on the role.
And not everybody's going to be like that.
Depending on the role.
Not everybody's going to be like that.
But the thing is, when you put it in an advert and you tell me he's coming for a startup position and then he has to have 3 years experience, where's he going to get the experience from?
Well, that's what they need. That's what we need.
No, isn't that crazy?
Well, that's also a challenge.
Start of 3 years experience.
No, I'm serious.
The startup needs to grow.
The guy who is